Welcome to the Y Connect podcast. As the heartbeat of the community, the Y is a connector where people of all ages and walks of life come together to elevate their health, wellness, education, and essential life skills. Hear the stories of impact and join the authentic conversations where together we'll discover the journeys and pathways people take to connect through the Y. Now your hosts, Zarina, Robert, and Allison.
Good morning, you guys.
Hi,
Good
friends.
morning. Good morning.
How are you
again.
today?
We are here again. We are here again. That's what's important.
Yes,
It always feels
and we're
like it's
smiling.
been a long while.
I know, but it is good to see everyone. Really good.
Absolutely.
I have to ask Robert about your shirt. Tell us, for those viewers that are watching us through YouTube, show us your shirt. Yes. Tell us
There
the
you
significance.
Love it.
I am a proud member of the fraternity Phi Beta Sigma Fraternity Incorporated, founded in 1914 at Howard University. We are celebrating Black History Month, and we've had different themes every day. And so today is HBCU/Greek Organization Day. I'm also, although I went to Morehouse, I am representing Xavier University, and that is the school that my youngest daughter is currently a sophomore in New Orleans.
Yes.
And also currently ranked in the top 3 of HBCUs. So yeah, very, very proud of the heritage and the culture and the tradition that she's continuing. And it's a wonderful time right now. We just celebrated 106 years.
Wow.
So yeah, we are, as they say, turning the needle in the right direction, and doing a lot of things that, culture for service and service for humanity is our motto. So, living it and breathing it every day here at the Y. So it's absolutely a beautiful time.
Nice tie-in. I like that.
Yeah, love it.
I just left our board meeting, and actually one of our association board for the Y, and one of our board members, Tony Robinson, who is an executive with Carter's, the company that produces so many wonderful clothing for children across the world.
Mm-hmm.
He presented our mission moment, and it being Black History Month, and really shared the contextual historical ramifications of how the Y played a role in the significance of Black History Month. And so a call out to Tony. All right. Well, Robert, you do the honors, and let's get our show started today.
Yeah, absolutely. I have the absolute proud opportunity to introduce our guest today. With more than 15 years of experience as a motivational speaker, Tynesha Anderson is a highly organized and detail-oriented, innovative leader with over 10 years of experience providing thorough and skillful support to senior executives and CEOs. She has been mentored by former UN Ambassador Andrew Young and Dr. Maya Angelou. She grew up in Andrew. Exactly. She grew up in the Andrew Walter Young Family YMCA in Southwest Atlanta. She obtained her Bachelor of Science in Business Management from Alabama State University. During her tenure at ASU, Ms. Anderson interned with the IRS at its headquarters in Washington, D.C. Upon graduating, Ms. Anderson was offered a position by the FBI. Very impressive. Ms. Anderson has extensive knowledge in working in groups and interacting with people of various ages and socioeconomic backgrounds. Ms. Anderson serves as Director of Engagement for Connections Homes, a nonprofit organization that assists young adults between the ages of 18 and 24 aging out of foster care. And may I also say, a proud member of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated.
Welcome, Tanisha.
Hi. Welcome. So, Tanisha, we're going to kick it off. I'll kick it off with the first question. I understand you spent a great deal of your childhood and teenage years at the Andrew and Walter Young Family YMCA. I'm a proud parent of two children that attended the Early Learning Center there. I also worked out of that location as an instructional support coach at one time. Could you describe your early experiences there?
No, absolutely. So I grew up here at the YMCA, and so the YMCA really changed my life. And I just want to say before I go into this whole spiel, thank you so much, Rob, for that beautiful introduction. However, I'm not AKA. I didn't pledge at ASU, but I did.
Sorry.
No, you're fine. You're fine. I'll go into the whole spiel about how Dr. Mike Angelou was going to write my recommendation letter for AKA if I was going to go through with the process. But thank you so much for that beautiful introduction.
Very welcome.
But going back to the point, I grew up here at the YMCA. The YMCA changed my life. And when I say it changed my life, I don't know where I would have been if there was no Andrew and Walter Young Family YMCA. And so I came here when I was 12 years old. And ironically enough, my best friend introduced me to the YMCA. Her mother used to work in the preschool area, so she used to let me come up here with her, and so she was introducing me to everyone. And then one thing led to another. Before long, I didn't want to go home, and so this became my safe space.
I'd love to hear about how that progressed into your teen years. You know, were you engaged in any mentoring through the Andrew and Walter Young Y as a teen?
Absolutely. So when I came up here at 12 years old, I got involved in a lot of, the YMCA at that time had a lot of stuff going on. We had Dramatic Guild, that's a performance art program. And then afterwards, it became known as the Dr. Mike Angelou Performance Arts Center. With that program, we were able to express ourselves through the arts. So I just poured into the arts. I started writing poetry. I began to act. We would go around the city of Atlanta performing at different places. And so I got involved in that program. From that program, I got involved in, they had at that time, Big Sister, Big Brother program. So they had different college students coming up here to mentor us. And so everything the YMCA had to offer, from the programs to the summer work programs, I was involved in. And so I eventually started working up here when I was about 16 years old. And so I worked up here. First, I was a youth outreach specialist. Then I, started getting involved in HR, assisting in human resources. I probably have worked in every department but the workout, the aquatics area, probably here at the YMCA. So yeah.
And would you say it was because of your childhood and teen experience that inspired you to work for the Y? Would you say that?
It was because of my childhood, and because the YMCA had this philosophy: they would not write you off, no matter how bad they thought you were, no matter what the situation was. They would not write you off. They will work with you. At the time, the director was Diane Baker King, and so she had this open door philosophy. She said, anytime anybody need my help, you guys can come in and knock on my door and just come talk to me. And so with that philosophy, whenever anybody was trying to write us off, she will always say, okay, now let's come up with a solution. You had an attitude today, or you probably wasn't feeling your best. Let's talk about that. So the YMCA never allowed us to suppress our problems, but to bring it to the forefront and deal with it head on. And so with that, I was able to kind of make mistakes without the fear of being reprimanded or being thrown out, because they loved us that much that they said, okay, we understand, we're going to extend grace, but we're going to teach you in the process of what to do and how to do it. And so with that type of love, I just never turned away from the YMCA.
My goodness, I love hearing that.
That's a beautiful thing. That's truly a beautiful thing.
Yes.
And being here during that time in the wellness department teaching, I had an opportunity of seeing Tanisha being embraced and being, just embraced by Ms. King and the other leadership staff. She spoke of being part of the leadership programs and mentoring programs. Tynesha, what was it like being mentored by Ambassador Young and Maya Angelou?
That was a dream come true. At the time, I didn't understand what was going on because I saw them so often, and so in my mind, I'm thinking like, okay, yeah, they're just I see them every day. It wasn't until I went to college and I was doing a project on Arthur Ashe, and I found out how much Ambassador Young did that I realized like I am very privileged. I was very privileged to be around them. And so it wasn't one of those relationships where we would see them sometime. No, we saw them all the time. In fact, they would invite me over for Thanksgiving dinner. They literally adopted me without the paperwork, the whole family. And so whenever I would have anything going on at school or activity, they would come and support me. And they love me regardless of the circumstances. I mean, again, when you're young, you go through so much. You go through that rebellious stage, and I went through that stage a little bit. And so, even through that stage, they love me. I mean, even to this day, you cannot tell Dr. Young and Mrs. Young that I'm not their baby. They will probably get upset with you. Like, they love me that much, and I love them too. I mean, I remember getting mad with them, pouting and stuff, and I'm like, I don't want to talk. And it was like, when you're finished pouting, we're going to still be right here loving you regardless. And so, Dr. Walter Young and Sonia Young and Dr. Young, they introduced me to Maya Angelou. So I wrote a poem when I was 12 called Living in Hell. And so from my perspective, I thought I was living in hell. And so I wrote that poem at 12. And then I also wrote a poem called Winning with Knowledge based on the life of Dr. Maya Angelou. I recited that poem for Ambassador Young, and he said, would you like to meet her? And I'm thinking like, sure. Like, you know her? She came up to EY. I said the poem, and after I said the poem, I left the stage, and then she took the stage. She spoke. She was coming off the stage, and she noticed me standing right there admiring her, and she said, come here. And so when I went up to her, I'm feeling like I was so nervous because she was this powerful woman. Like, oh my gosh. I was so nervous that she whispered in my ear, she said, I hear all the great things you're doing up here. She said, keep it up. I'm so proud of you. And she said, just know I'm watching. And she kissed me on my cheek. And I promise you, I probably didn't wash my face for a whole week.
No joke. That's incredible. That is incredible. Oh, and did she inspire your poetry? I mean, who has an experience like what you've experienced? This is unreal.
Not too many.
She did inspire my poetry because after I lost my dad, I stopped talking for a while, and so I started reading a lot. And so I was so mad. I was really looking for answers. I read the whole Bible searching for answers because I know this. At the time, I was confused because at the time my mother wasn't a stable parent, but my father was. And so I'm thinking like, God, how could you take my father, the stable parent, but leave the unstable one? And I know that sounds harsh, but as a child, that was my thought process. So I started reading. One of the books that I picked up was I Know Why the Cage Bird Sings by Dr. Maya Angelou. And so in that book, she talked about dealing with trauma and how, as a child she was molested and how she stopped talking. And so as a youth going through something similar without, going through molestation, I could kind of identify what that type of trauma being just shedding off. And so I fell in love with her from that point. And so I started like just going into, a deep dive of who she was, her art, how she overcame a lot of stuff. And so to just manifest her being a part of my life, because she came back to the Y after I said that poem for her. And at that point, I was graduating from high school, and she said, let me give you my personal number. And she said, you use it. You don't use it for anything small. So throughout my college life, I was able to call her periodically, ask her questions, confide in her when I was having tough times. And she gave it to me straight. She never sugarcoated anything. And she always ended the conversation with, do you need anything?
What a lifelong gift.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Wow.
Absolutely. Those are those life-changing moments.
And so with all those experiences, Tynesha, growing up within the Y, how did it influence and guide your path into college and beyond?
Oh, absolutely. So, because of the YMCA, I became the first in my family not only to graduate from high school, but to go on and graduate from college with honors. And so, with the YMCA, I kind of developed a mindset that anything is possible, regardless of the circumstances,
Mm,
regardless of your background, anything is possible. And
right.
so, I took that with me to college. And so, while I was in college, I kind of had the mindset of like, okay, I can do it. If I can overcome Hamilton Road, I can do anything. And
Mm-hmm.
so, surprisingly enough, when I was in college, people couldn't even imagine me coming from the background that I did. They thought I was kind of somebody who came from LA or some prestige community
Hmm.
because I was well
Right.
equipped. I walked around with my head high. I always spoke life into people because people spoke life
Mm-hmm.
into me. And so, with that
Yes.
That's
mindset,
right.
I went from having zero scholarships my freshman year in college to five scholarships by the time I graduated. And so, when I share the story about being recruited by the FBI, when I applied for those internships in college, and most of those internships I wasn't even qualified for, but I went in with the mindset of anything is possible. And
Hmm.
Right.
Lord behold, I had so many internships that the hardest thing for me that I had to do sophomore year was to select which one I would work for.
Mm.
And so I ultimately chose the IRS headquarters, and that was the best internship of my life. Um, but yeah, the YMCA kind of poured into me in a way where even to this day, I still believe in the impossible.
Yes, me
Goodness.
too.
I mean, I could talk to you for hours. What a life. Totally changed and lifted by such inspiring leaders, world
That's
leaders.
right.
So I am just in awe. I'd love to know more about what you do today. So you work with an organization called Connections Homes, and I would love it if you could describe that work and the mission of the organization.
Absolutely. Thank you for asking me that. So today, I'm currently serving as the director of engagement for a nonprofit organization called Connection Homes. And so the purpose of Connection Home is to assist young adults aging out of foster care between the ages of 18 and 24. We truly believe that everybody deserves somebody, and maybe that someone is you. And so the unique thing about Connection Home is we don't believe in putting these young adults in homes, but we believe in putting people in their lives to help navigate them through life, whether that's a college
Mm.
application, whether that's, inviting them over for Thanksgiving. There is power in mentorship. And if anyone should know about the
Mm-hmm.
power of mentorship, that's someone like me who have gone through the process of being mentored by such pillars in the community. And so I pride myself in really promoting this organization under the leadership of the CEO, Miss Pam Parrish. And the unique thing about Miss Pam Parrish is she herself adopted seven girls, and so she had one biological daughter, and she was just, motivated to start this organization. We're currently in Atlanta, in Alpharetta, Georgia, and we
Okay.
represent 6 states. And so we are growing really fast, and I'm so proud about the work we're doing.
What does that life look like
Nice.
for children that transition from being foster care children into adulthood and the work that where Connections Homes comes in?
Thank you for asking me that question. So the reality is, when these young adults age out of foster care, within the first year, majority of the young men end up incarcerated. Majority of the young women end up pregnant or a part of some sex trafficking ring, so they can provide food for themselves. And so, with that statistic, we believe that if we can put people in their lives to help them navigate that space, they won't be so caught up with trying to, get in trouble because they believe they will have the mindset that people care about them. And so the statistics are horrifying and the danger is real. It's no longer enough for us just to push these young people out there at 18. I mean, let's be real. At
Right.
18, I wasn't ready. Had I not had people like Ambassador Young, Miss King, and Mrs. Young, Lord knows where I would have been. But because they mentored me, because they gave me a safe place to come to for the holidays, I'm where I am today. So my main purpose, and I'm very passionate when I talk about this because I truly believe that with the help and the proper mentorship, these young people can overcome anything because I'm a testament to that.
Right.
They are so fortunate to have you on their team.
Very much so.
Absolutely.
Your passion
Thank you so
speaks for
much.
itself. It truly exudes. I love how you've taken what people have done for you to transform your life and paying it forward to transform others. It's
Right.
truly a work of art and a work of grace through you,
Mm-hmm.
through a higher power. Um, do you have any advice for any young people or parents of young people about how they might be able to follow in your footsteps, your inspiring footsteps?
Absolutely. My advice will always be for the young adults, for the youth. When you have people who truly love you, accept the hands that are extended to you. That's what happened for me. I reflect back on my journey at the YMCA and how a lot of the students that started with me, they didn't get to where I am because when people like Ambassador Young were extending their hands, they were really,
Mm.
pulling against them. I accepted the help and I wanted to change and I wanted to be better. And so it starts with you. At Connection Homes, we have a philosophy where we don't force these young adults to be a part of our program. It's a decision. And when you have that type of decision, my prayer is that you make the right decision and to let these people help you. And when you get the help, you pour back into the community like I'm doing, and it begins to create a domino effect. To the parent,
Mm-hmm.
a lot of people have
Mm.
different a lot of people have different concerns as it relates to the world and all the craziness that's going on. But I want every parent to understand the power of the YMCA. If you don't have a YMCA in your community, find one that's nearby because the YMCA is still doing great things, and you will be surprised to find how we are growing. Because I'm still a part of the Y. That's why I say we. We, the Y is a part of me, and so put your kids inside the YMCA, and you'll be surprised how far they will go and where life will take them.
Thank you for saying that. It
Yes.
means a lot
This
to
has been
all
a
of us.
very,
Yes, ma'am.
it
Truly,
does. This
truly.
conversation has been so inspiring, and I can't wait to share more about your organization with the children and families that we serve here at our early learning. Now, this is the special part of our show when we get to share our pathway to the Y, and you've shared some of that already. But how did you get connected to the YMCA and describe the impact it has had on your life?
Yes. So the YMCA, I grew up on Hamilton Road. The YMCA has always been a part of this community. And luckily for me, one of my childhood best friend mother used to work up here. But to be honest, when I first saw the YMCA, in my mind, I'm thinking like, I'm never going to go in there because I don't know if they're going to turn me around. But it was an easy process because my best friend walked me in the YMCA. And once I got through those doors, the love and the energy was just so welcoming and it felt like home. And so again, I came and I never went home because this was my second home. I think that when you think about the YMCA, I think about a place that is very comforting. It's a safe space. It's not a place where people judge you. People accept you regardless of your background, your race, your gender, or whatever the case may be. And so when I think about coming to the YMCA, again, I think about, being welcome with open arms.
Robert, what's it like to hear Tanisha talk about this? You've known her a long time, and you
Yeah.
were the one who saw her speak at a recent event at the Andrew and Walter Young Y, kind of kicking off this large $9.5 million renovation that we're
Renovation that
undergoing
we're
right
doing.
now.
Yeah. Yeah.
So what's it like to
That was
hear her?
the first day I had seen Tanisha in years. Probably, if not when she went to school, soon after. So it's amazing to hear her story firsthand. It's amazing to see the growth. I remember her walking these halls and being embraced by Miss King and being embraced by other leadership staff, and seeing her in her early stages of learning how to be a leader. And she's absolutely captured that flag, and is doing the work that she is supposed to be doing. It really sounds as if she has found her purpose. It really sounds as if she is walking in the path that has been paved for her, and walking in the footsteps of giants, and doing a great job of it. I actually pulled up every morning we have a motivational moment that my 2 weeks started. And so everybody, myself and all the other staff, we chime in and send some type of motivational statement. And so I pulled one up that I had posted, I believe last week, and it's by Dr. Maya Angelou, and it says to do the best you can until you know better. Then when you know better, do better. And I believe that speaks volumes and speaks directly to the work that Tynesha is doing and what she heard and what she embraced and what she is currently doing.
Kudos to you,
What a
Robert, for
remarkable
lifting up
lady you
that
are.
quote. Yes, really. Thank you for being with us today. Thank you for sharing your why story, and thank you for telling all of our listeners the power that the why's had in your life. And you're extraordinary. You really are.
Yes.
You're
Thank
extraordinary.
you so much. Thank you guys so
Thank
much for
you.
having me. And I'm just smiling as Rob is talking because Rob was definitely a part of that village. Rob used to always, he was working out. He was like an instructor up here. And I used as a youth, you can't really go into some of these workout classes. But Rob was one of those disciplinarians who will tell us to stop running in the hallway, go back to our count. So he was that person telling us to get in shape or to eat right. And you're like, okay, Rob. But when I think about where I am now and being able to hear him say all of those great things about me and just to put the puzzles together, it's really amazing. So thank you so much, Rob. And I really do thank
Absolutely.
you for being a part of my YMCA village as well.
Thank you. Thank you for what you poured into me. Thank you. Can I put you on the spot and have you do one of the poems? Can I put you on the spot and have you do a poem?
I like it.
What a treat.
Yeah.
Excellent.
So, can you guys hear me well?
We can.
Yes.
Okay. So I will do the poem that I wrote for Dr. Maya Angelou. It's called Winning with Knowledge. And I said, born black in a land where white was might and black was fight, I was raped, made my mistakes, didn't think I would make it past 28, but still I'm alive. Had to fight, had to win, couldn't give in. You think I had it easy? Well, think again. At age 17, my life began. Had a baby, named him Guy. Taught him that in life how to reach for the sky. But many may think I had it easy. I don't see how. In life, you can't just fly by. You have to struggle. You have to lose. But with knowledge, you gain all the tools. Don't be fools. Growing up, I read. Became an actress, a poet, all because I used my head. And many may think I had it easy. I don't see how. Just a black sister who made it through with knowledge. That's how. Thank you.
Awesome. Love it.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Powerful. Very
Absolutely.
powerful.
Thank you for
that.
that.
That poem is by I wrote that poem after reading what I Know About the Cage First Scenes, and everything I said in the poem is true about Dr. Maya Angelou. She didn't think she would make it past 17. She had a baby named Guy, and so as we begin to wrap this up, one of my favorite poems by her is people will forget what you say. People will forget what you say to them. People will forget what you do for them, but people will never forget how you made them feel. So again, I thank the YMCA for making me feel seen and heard, all of those things.
Yeah.
Keep going. We want to have you back. We really want to have you back.
Yes.
And
Absolutely.
gosh, you're going to take over the world. I mean, honestly, I hope you do. I would love it if you just continued this path, just completely outstanding. So thank you so much.
Yeah.
Yep. Thank you, Tynesha.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening to the Y Podcast. To continue the conversation or to find your closest Y, please connect with us at ymcaatlanta.org and sign up for our newsletter, Healthy Together.